Yeah, I know, it's been way too long, and I've had a lot going on with the boat. I've actually been working pretty hard this winter. I'll include some stuff I did about a month ago where I put some videos together, but I thought this was kind of interesting. So pulling the 30-foot Great Alaskan off the trailer, off the carpeted bunks, is a little bit of a challenge. It doesn't slide off. It holds it really well. It doesn't slide off, so you have to float it off, which isn't a big deal when you're launching. When you're reeling in though, bringing it back in, it can be a real chore to crank it up those last few notches. You just can't. So I started looking for the bunk sliders, the plastic liners that you put on top of the bunks. And reading all the reviews, I wasn't real impressed with what looked like, thin, high density polyethylene HDPE. I thought about UHMW, but I've worked with that in the past. It's not my favorite thing, and it's just incredibly expensive. So I decided to do my own design with the high density polyethylene. So I started looking for a half sheet. I figured a half sheet, I could do 4-inch strips up and down the bunks and do it well, and I couldn't find a half sheet anywhere. But then on Craigslist, woohoo Craigslist, I found a plastics company in Portland that was selling full sheets. That's like 53 inches by 96 or something for $200, which is kind of a lot of money, but that's a whole lot less than you'd get it buying it in 2-foot wide sections off anywhere. So I decided to buy the whole thing, knowing that not only could I do the bunks, all the way up, really have it nicely covered, but I'll have enough left over for things like cutting boards, bait stations, all that kind of stuff. So here's what I'm doing. So I suppose there's different makes of this, but the stuff that this guy had was starboard, which is pretty common in the boating industry. It's a full sheet of it right there, plus another section, so bigger than the sheet of plywood, barely fit in my truck lengthwise or widthwise. But I'm cutting it into 25-inch widths, and then I'm going to take it into my table saw and cut it into 4-inch strips, 4 foot by 53 inch or 4 inches by 53 inches. And then I'm going to take a router bit and bevel the edge to a 45 degree. And then I will drill a hole in the middle, 1/2-inch hole, and a 1/2-inch slot in the fore and the aft of each strip. So once I float the boat off, then I'll drill holes through the bunks and fasten this in. And the reason I'm doing slots is this stuff has a lot of expansion. When you're going from hot air to cold water, it's going to shrink or extend, and that's going to play havoc with the bolts and the plastic and all that. So by putting slots, it'll allow it to slide and adjust a little bit. Obviously, the bolts will have to be countersunk. So I got the thinnest round-headed stove bolts I could find that will be countersunk in with a larger bit and give it the room. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I can't install it until I have the boat in the water, which will hopefully occur in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'll post a video at that time. But so far, I'm excited about the prospects of this, and I'm also excited because this stuff mills like wood, and I think with some aluminum angle brackets, I will be able to make some pretty professional cutting boards and bait stations that'll sit on the back of the boat. And I might as well show you around the boat too. So remember, I didn't get this thing painted last fall. So I'm doing the finished work now so I can get it painted. One of the things I've done here, I'm pretty proud of, is the roof rack. So these are grab bars that go along the roof. Same way I did the internal ones, I just went with 7/8 inch. I planed it to 7/8 inch, the strips of maple. Cut them a little higher, a little stouter. They will be fastened. They will be glued, sealed, and fastened with stainless steel screws down the inside. The other thing I've done is I've added conduit to hide all my wiring, well, most of the wiring. So I've got my on-off switches now inset into that. I think it looks pretty nice. I still need to do some covers up front. And then I've really been working on drawers and internal trim. So this is my galley drawers. Still a lot of sawdust to clean up. They're pretty big and pretty deep. I hope I'm not sorry about that. But they're gonna be nice. push them in, they kind of click. Under here, I'll have a door here. I still need to build the door. I want my battery box there well ventilated just for heat transfer. But I added this door here that clips in with a, ouch, slider. And then this whole thing pops out when I need to pull that out. And it's stout enough that I can put it in there, lock it into place, and that is my footrest when I'm sitting up here. I've got the drawers here built, but I'm gluing the faces up now. So I've got to get the trim glued on. I'm anxious for that. That's gonna look really nice. I took my seats in. If you watched my video series earlier, you remember that I got these seats from somebody in Washington. They had been built for a restoration of another boat that never occurred. And they were great. They were just a little long. They match the pads that I've got up here in the berth. Nice tweed. So I took them to a professional upholsterer here in Silverton, Oregon. Did a great job and had them shortened. They were about 4 inches too long and they stuck out here too far. So I had them shortened. I've got 2 of them. I got my table raised. I put a pedestal under it so when I want to, I can pop these. That'll unsnap and then it just lifts off and it sets down to make the bed. These lay out flat and I've got a nice bed for another body. Or I can put this down, turn these 90 degrees, and I've got a long bench seat so I could haul 6 people out here. Man, this is a lot of work. I knew I was gonna have to spend probably 200 or 300 hours getting this done. And as you can tell, I'm doing just project after project here. I'm getting closer where I can do the base coat and then get it painted. And I think it'll go pretty quick after that. I've got EVA flooring that I'll be gluing down and just a lot of painting to do. So that's finishing work. It looks a little rough until I get the finishing work done. I'm probably about 20 hours from starting the painting and hopefully about, I say 10 hours, so I might as well just say 30. I'm always wrong. And we will get this thing painted and head on over to the coast for a year of halibut and salmon and other fishing. I'm super excited. And this is my new first mate here. My co-pilot, of course, is my wife, but the first mate here is Bia. Bia is a little Brittany. She's 6.5 months old, and she's just a wonderful little dog. And then we've got the sulking, the sulker. Not happy at the moment. Hey Bia, you ready to go boating? You wanna go boating? Josie wants to go boating too.